Welcome back. Today I'm going to be putting in the exhaust system. I got a whole new Banks torque tube headers. I got Flowmaster cats, the doubles, and then I got the Flowmaster or the Banks monster exhaust. I'm going to go from front to back all the way through. We're going to put it in. We'll take some before and afters of the sounds of what the difference is for you guys to hear, and then I'm also going to go through and show you little tidbits every once in a while, which bolts to take apart, which piece to take off next, while following the instructions sent by Banks. So got my gloves on. More likely to take them off. I always put them on to start with, and then they get in the way, and then I just get mad, so I take them off. Probably all have the same thing. But yeah, without further ado, let's get weird. So I'll do another video of like a pass over all the pieces, but I just want to show you guys. This comes in stainless steel. But I took it yesterday when I came in. I didn't do a video of it, but you can kind of see a little bit here. I just went through and put like a high temp paint on there for headers. I think it's like VHT. Yeah, very high temperature paint. It's like the flame proof 2000 degrees. Put it on there just so they can just stop like any like kind of surface rusting, because I know these are actual steel and these are stainless steel, so these might rust up eventually over time. Like later, but these will be a lot sooner. So I coated all the rings and all of the bolts and everything they're gonna go onto it. But also I left the Banks exhaust tip. I just thought it was kind of cool to be chrome, just keep it that one bit. But I just want everything underneath to be done. But these are the torque tubes here. The monster exhaust. These are the tailpipe coming out. These are the bolts that hold on the torque tubes to the Flowmasters here. So yeah, that's all that's going to be going in. So I got to pull out everything else and take you along the way. All right, guys. So I'm right here for my belt to loosen it. You see the tensioner there. About halfway is where my ratchet clicks in. It's a half-inch drive. It clicks in there and it lets loosen it up. So if you grab onto the ratchet here and you pull up on it, that's how you loosen that belt. Let me get it around my hand here. Belt gets loose there. So you use both hands, pull up on one hand and then loosen the belt off with the other hand. And once that's off, then you can spin this wheel freely here for the power steering pump. And then there's these screws. There's one here, and there's also one down below. So as you just turn this open up to where it lines up with these screws here, put your socket inside there, and you can just twist it off and loosen it off. So you do all that stuff. Get that free and exposed before you start taking apart everything else. Like when you go into out of here, start getting all this stuff off. I did the belt and the power steering drive first. All right, so the first step is to take off the air intake. So good thing, take pictures of all your connections that you're gonna be taking off, because I'm gonna be taking off the air intake, the intake here, the actual intake here, the fuel rail, the power steering pump, the belt, everything that's connected right through here needs to come off because the exhaust is right on the bottom of it. So like even the throttle cables and everything like that, I'm gonna have to take off. So make sure you take pictures. In my case, I got this video I can go back to and look and make sure that all these O2 sensors are all plugged in and those are labeled as well. One of the main things too is underneath the fender here, there's just that rubber right here. Those little pins, you gotta take those out so you can get to the exhaust. Just a little bit easier, just make it a little easier on yourself. You might gotta squeeze in there and get in there, but just easier to reach through underneath here to get to where the bolts are, to the flanges and all that fun stuff. So yeah, make sure you take pictures, videos, and any of that stuff, so you know all the connections and everything that you take off, what they are, so that you don't just leave things unplugged and then it doesn't want to fucking turn on again. All right, another thing that I'll be using, PB Blaster. I'm gonna go through and do all the bolts and all like that are holding the old exhaust system on. You know, these two, these four, anything else that's on the old system that's gonna be replaced. Along with all of the header bolts. They're gonna be, you can see the header, the old header in there, kind of
It's cast iron looking one here. So I gotta go through and put this PB blaster on all these bolts and threads all the way down and around, just to get it to start penetrating, so it'd be a little easier to take off. And now we're back. I've taken off the fuel injector rails, all the electrical components, so I can just kind of push it back like this, so I can expose all of the nuts and the bolts. I mean, the one nut down here, this guy, you can see my fingers touching here. That one's got like a nut on it, because that's going to help you guide on the new headers here. So the intake as well, I've taken off every bolt that goes along the top. Now I'm going to have some fun underneath underneath here. You can see up in there, it's going to be a nightmare, so I'm not going to be able to film that. I'm going to get in there best I can up underneath and get those bolts out. But I was cutting out this monstrosity of a damn exhaust. These guys here, every time I've done exhaust, which is like 4 times now on these Jeeps, these bolts, man, these stock bolts that are on here to hold it in, those little bastards don't like to come out. Same thing with these the O2 sensors. So I threw some PB blaster on there. I might just go pick up some new ones, just take these off, because these plugs are a little different. You see this one's got a black plug on it. This is for the rear, and this is for the front. This one's got a gray plug. So sometimes you go to AutoZone or whatnot, or O'Reilly's, and you go and buy a new O2 sensor like that. They're like, oh, they're all the same. They're not all the same. The connections are a little bit different just for the computer wise. So you got to make sure it's best to, if you have a broken one, take it off, bring it inside, and then just swap it out that way. So I'll be taking off the headers now, and I'll probably be running down to O'Reilly's to go pick up these some new O2 sensors. Since I'm in there, I don't need to put the old ones back on, and then a couple months down the road, if it goes out, and then I got to get back in underneath all this fun stuff. But yeah, that's where we're at now. Patch you guys back in when I get to the next stop. All right, guys, back. So there's a little, looks like a heat shield that's on top of the motor mount there. I don't know if this is some kind of flaw, something that somebody else has seen before, but I took it off because it wasn't really painted right or well, you know, and it was kind of tack welded on there. I don't know if this is something Jeep does for this model year or not, but look at all that surface rust that just, they never painted it and never did anything underneath it. So just over from 2006 to now, it's got just a bunch of gunk in there. So before I get in there and I put on the exhaust and everything now, so it's a lot easier to get to now that it's just sitting freely like this. I'm gonna clean her up a little bit. So yeah, I just want to give you guys an update. Got everything kind of off. As you can see, the whole driver's side of the engine bay is open. Everything's out of the way, all the wires, connectors, and all that fun stuff are gone. But yeah, just giving you guys a quick little update there. And this is the old guys here, so I gotta take those 2 O2 sensors off and put them onto the new kit here. And then I put them in, I can bolt it all up. That's why I mocked up the headers here, just like this, so that I can reach down and get in there. Just a little easier to put in the lower half where the cats are. Then I'll come back up and bolt the rest of those guys in there. But yeah, I'll set you guys up for a time lapse or something so you can see me put it all back together when it's ready. All right, so I got the first part of the headers on. I had to cut out, instead of trying to take the bolts off and just wasting time and stuff, since I'm throwing this stuff out anyways, I just chopped them with the damn Sawzall. So I was in the front finesse pipe here. When that guy, I just cut it so I can pull it out a little easier. This is a kind of pain in the ass because I have that front skid plate that protects the transfer case, and then underneath the belly of the transmission too. So I have the skid plates. I didn't want to take them out, so I just slid this whole thing out. But I had to cut it again, the back of the exhaust, the back of the muffler there, up over the top here, and just pulled it all out. All right, guys. So I messed up. I thought I was putting the same headers on that I was putting on when I put my old Cherokee or old XJ. I did the same thing on, but I forgot about that double cat, like double down pipe thing. So when I put that in earlier and then put all the the intake and everything back on them with to try and tighten it, I couldn't get behind them. So it was too tight. So I had to take that all back off, go all back through it again, one time again, learn from my mistakes. So I do these things for you guys. But also, one thing I want to show you guys is something to invest in is this little snake camera here. Like, I have it set up in here to this last bolt where I couldn't reach it from down below. And I was wondering, I can't see it from above, I can't reach it from below. But what I ended up doing is, if you can see on there, that's the bolt head there. So I kind of just used the camera to finagle until that socket fit, and boom, and then there it is. So the socket, the 3/8 drive is right there, poking out underneath the intake there, underneath the cast iron part there, right there. So yeah, it's little things that I've accumulated over time that I feel help out great and big time too. Because I guess especially if you drop a screw, and I dropped a screw earlier and I couldn't find it in there, and I didn't know where the hell it went, so I pulled out the camera and snaked it through all the little crevices and stuff, and I ended up finding them. And here's his little twin. So yeah, just little tidbits there. Plugging away. Once I get it done, once I get this all back up and plugged away again and plugged up and stuff, I'm going to test it. I'm going to turn it on and see if there's any leakage coming out of the exhaust, out of up here, out of the manifold or not. And then if everything's good to go like that, then this will be done up top, and I'll just go through the bottom underneath, and I'll do all the exhaust and put the cats back on and put the muffler and then put the tailpipe and all that stuff on. Then I'll do test drive and see how it goes. I feel like I should hear this 4.0 if it was straight pipe and just straight headers on her only. Let's see what she sounds like. She is mean. Mean. All right, let's let her cool off and get back to the exhaust. Okay, so I got you guys mounted up in there. These are the new headers here. And checking, all right, yeah. They have cooled down since I let her roar, let her roam a little bit. Oh.
All right, guys, that's it. I've got everything put in, everything's installed, everything's good to go. Let me show you through the front to the back. There's one little piece that says it's an LJ. I think that's why the kit says it fits for LJs and TJs, but the muffler system from the Cat was about a foot short, which is how much longer the exhaust is, or longer the tub is. The tub is than the TJ. So on an LJ, you know, as you can see on right here behind the door, this spacing here is a little bit longer than a TJ. And right below that, down below, is where the exhaust is the same spot, is just a little bit short with the system comes. So we got it under here, right? So we come from under up top there. That's where the headers and everything are at, up there. See the double cats, they come down, they cross under the oil pan here, and they turn the exhaust, come this way. So that it's this system where that the Cat is right here underneath the transfer case skid plate. It just connects right here to these two pipes. One goes inside the other, and then you put on the exhaust clamp, tighten it down, and then you keep running back towards the back there, right? So then as you come to the back, this is where you get the muffler connection, and the Cat connection is under here, underneath the transfer case. You can see it in there. It sort of butts up. Got its two screws, all that fun stuff, right? Then right here, you can see this. I had to add this section in here. So let me get you guys set up a little better. This part right here didn't exist. It would just go from here and it'd go right into the tailpipe, which the tailpipe goes up and over the axle. But to get that to fit, I had to run down to O'Reilly's, and luckily they had this, and they didn't have the O2 sensors, but they have this extension piece. It's 18 inches. I put it on the tailpipe here, and then measured it out how much I needed, and I kind of made sure that it went into like this little indent here. That's where the pipe will go in and stop, so it doesn't go too far into the muffler. It kind of stop it there. I measured that line, then I took the Sawzall and I chopped her off, and then had to buy another one of these clips, the exhaust clamps there, so that I tighten her down, and then just put the regular system back in there again. My lights start. Come on. There we go. Let's slide this down here so we can get some light down the other side. Ooh, roll. All right. So then it come out the back here, and that's it, right? So it comes up over top. As you can see, I'm not so comfortable. I like it, but I don't like how close it is to that shock there. I don't know if that's over time that's gonna do some damage with the heat. I mean, I have some extra shocks and some upgrades, but let me know in the comments if you know anything about that. If you guys have had any problems with that or not. And I had this this old hanger here, because the hanger that I had, the stock hanger, broke off, so I put this guy on. You can see it's a little exhaust, but just wrapped it around there and tightened her up. Good to go. Put the other clamp on, then I got that chrome piece on there, which looks pretty sweet, I think. And then so yeah, that's the system from front to back for you guys all the way through. And I'll do some before and after sounds so you guys can hear it. All right, guys, that's all I got for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you followed along from start to finish. You saw some camera things, malfunction and stuff like that. You know, that's real. I try to keep in as much as I can so you guys can see the whole process and speed it through. But if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, any of that stuff, put it in the comment section below. I'll put in the description of the Snake camera that I have, the PB Blaster, and some other tools and whatnot that I use. I'll put them in the description like I did before, some Amazon links and some stuff like that. If there's anything you want to see, let me know. Put it in the comment section something you've done better, or something you've done differently, or little fixes, just like how I put about that shock in the back with the exhaust. If you guys have put the system in, you've seen it, let me know what you've done to fix that, or how you avoided it getting so close to that strut there. But yeah, you know, do the same old, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Let me know, hit the bell so you get notifications when I got new videos coming out. Till next time.